Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing great. Now today's video is going to be about one of those rare occasions where I will consider one of my fragrance purchases as being a total fail or an absolute fail. The fragrance that I'm going to talk about in this video comes from the Lattafa Pride line and it's called Raw Human. And in this video today, I'm going to tell you why I consider this to be an absolute fail, at least for me. If you have some experience with the Lattafa Pride line fragrances, you probably know that they always come pretty uniquely packaged, and Raw Human makes no difference. First of all, you get this outside box that looks like this. You got some information about the fragrance, the name, the company, the bottle size 100 milliliters, the concentration, EDP. Somewhere you also got a date of production, which is October of 2023. Once you open up that box, you're greeted by a secondary box that looks a lot more different, very sturdy box that opens up like a Zippo lighter, and then inside sits the fragrance. Again, you got all that information on the front, and then this is how the bottle looks. It comes in this black colored box. It's narrow and tall. The bottle has a sort of like a soft coating to it. The cap is plastic, but it has the same coating. And on the front you got this, I think it's like a woman's face with again some information about the fragrance. The whole bottle has a really nice heft to it, and the packaging is pretty unique and luxurious. And also inside you get that leaflet that contains all the information about the Lattafa Pride line fragrances. All in all, a very uniquely packaged fragrance. If you enjoy my videos guys, but you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It really means a lot to me, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, now let's talk about the note breakdown of a Raw Human as per the leaflet that Lattafa have included in this in the box of this fragrance. The note breakdown has the following notes. The top notes are apricot, plum and pink pepper. The middle notes are osmanthus, it's only one note listed, and the base notes are leather, olibanum, styrax and fir balsam. I'll show you the sprayer in action and then I'll tell you what I pick up from this fragrance. The sprayer is actually pretty good, which makes sense because this is a higher end Lattafa fragrance. And now onto the actual scent of this thing. Now the opening is very fruity and quite bright. I pick up a lot of that apricot and a lot of that plum. The plum note feels, the apricot is very sweet. The plum feels sweet, but at the same time has a kind of a freshness to it as well, which is very nice. I don't pick up much of spiciness in the opening of this fragrance, and also immediately after spraying, I pick up the leather note. Now the leather note in here feels kind of strange. It's not exactly a full-time leather note. It also doesn't feel like a suede leather. It feels something in between. Maybe Lattafa have used two different kind of leather notes in this fragrance. And also there's quite a bit of sweetness of something like an amber note, I think, which is not listed into the note breakdown. When this starts to dry down, like even not only in the deep dry down but the early dry down, 5 minutes after spraying, the plum note starts to disappear very fast, and about 5 to 10 minutes into the life of this fragrance it's completely gone, which is a pity because I really like the opening of this thing. Into the dry down, this becomes a really sort of a mix of between the apricot and that leather note with some amber sweetness and maybe a touch of some greenness, something like that. And the dry down is the part that I really don't enjoy. There's something in that mix of apricot and leather that just does not work for me. Now the interesting thing is that in the air, around whoever wears this fragrance, it actually smells pretty nice, even in the dry down, but at least on my skin I just almost cannot stand that mix of apricot and leather, and that's the main reason why I think this fragrance has been a fail for me, a total fail for me. When it comes to the performance of Raw Human, this is another area where it left me a little bit disappointed. You know, looking at the black bottle and at some of the notes, I was expecting this to be, you know, a strong performing fragrance. It's not a weak fragrance by any means, but definitely not as strong as I expected. I've been getting somewhere between 7 to 8 hours of performance on my skin with about an hour and a half of soft projection. So not a beast mode fragrance, definitely not a weak fragrance. I would call it, you know, a little bit above average. When it comes to the price tag now, when this was, you know, firstly available here in Europe on Notino's website, I paid about 35 euros in order to get this fragrance, which is an okay deal considering that this is a member of the Lattafa Pride line, which usually is a little bit more costly compared to some of their other fragrances. But now the prices have seemed to go down a little bit, and this thing at the current time costs somewhere between 25 to 30 euros. So not a great deal, not a bad deal, you know, an affordable fragrance, let's call it that. When it comes to versatility, this is an unisex fragrance, especially the opening can lean a little bit to the feminine side because of that sweet fruity opening that you get. The dry down may be more in line with some, you know, masculine fragrances, but in my opinion this is a perfectly unisex scent that's more orientated towards the cold weather in my opinion, but you can wear this in warm weather as long as you don't go too heavy with the sprayer. And on to my final thoughts about Raw Human from the Lattafa Pride line. Now, as I said in the opening of this video, this turned out to be a total fail for me. You know, the scent of this fragrance, I really like the opening, but unfortunately it lasts for about 5 minutes, and after that this goes into the dry down. It's a pretty linear fragrance apart from that missing plum note on the dry down compared to the opening, and there's just something in that combination of apricot and leather with the amber sweetness that just does not work with me, at least on my skin. In the air around me it doesn't smell bad by any means, but you know, up close on my skin I just almost cannot stand the scent of Raw Human. Also, another area where this was a little bit disappointing was the performance. You know, I've had a generally pretty good experience when it comes to Lattafa Pride line fragrances, and they usually have been a good performers for me, but Raw Human turned out to be a slightly above average performing fragrance. Still, I'm not saying that this is a bad fragrance on its own. If you know, if that mix of apricot, plum, you know, amber and leather sounds interesting to you, you can probably check out Raw Human from Lattafa, but I would definitely suggest that you first try it in some way, you know, sample it first before actually committing to a full bottle. For me, this thing turned out to be a real fail. And so guys, in today's video I showed you a fragrance from the Lattafa Pride line called Raw Human that turned out to be a complete fail for me. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.